Assalamu alaikum, Eid Mubarak. A very happy Eid Mubarak, and I hope that everyone's celebrating and everyone's enjoying themselves and having a great time. We have a lovely group of people with us today. We have with us Yashfeen Jamal, who is a leading anchor. I'm sure you all know her, a familiar face. She's also, she started her career with Waqt News, but is presently with us at PTV News. What can I say about her that will add to how much she's added to our screens and the kind of valuable input as far as her political shows, her political input is concerned. And we're very delighted to have her with us today.
Thank you so much, very kind of you.
We also have with us Farooq Hasan, who is also a leading anchor and a banker. We're delighted for him to have joined us today. And Sara Bhatti, who is also an anchor, but additionally she's also done a lot of work as an actor, and we'll be asking her a little bit about all that she's done. She's also a successful businesswoman, and she's running 2 businesses in Dubai, and they're quite interesting. So I would like to go into the kind of work she's doing as far as wellness is concerned, as far as her, she says, fitness food for the lack of a better word, all of those things. We're very delighted to have such an eclectic group of people with us today on Eid, and I hope that you enjoy their company as much as we do.
Indeed. I'm Farooq Pitafi. Yes, we have been talking about various things on this channel, but today we are going to talk about Eid. And let us start with one of the guests, Yashfeen. How was your Eid today?
Thank you so much for having me, Farooq. First of all, I would like to say a very happy Eid Mubarak to you, your entire team, all our viewers on PTV. And Eid is a very beautiful day. Eid is a good day. A couple of years ago, I got into that mode where I used to, kind of laze around in the house and not do much on the day of Eid, and just thinking it's just another day. It's a day where we can just rest and do nothing. But as my children are growing older, I've started making it a point that Eid is a day of festival, and it should be treated like one. Okay. Because when we talk about educating our children, generally we talk about hands-on learning, we talk about practical experiences, we talk about building their concepts. So when we talk about religion, so I think it's very important that Alamia has given us a festival in the form of Eid after a month of Ramadan, where we go against our nafs and do a lot of things that we don't normally do. And as a reward we get
self-control.
So if we don't celebrate that reward in front of our children, we won't be able to, when they grow older, we should not expect that they're going to have the same values or the same concept about what Eid is all about, what this festival is all about. And then it's also very important for us as parents, as young parents, to go and see our own parents on the day of Eid, to meet our relatives, to meet our friends. Again, just to set an example for our children that it's important. It's part of the entire concept of Ramadan and Eid to get together with your friends and your family. So now I celebrate Eid, and you have 2 beautiful daughters, so you would know that Eid is quite an occasion with little girls in the house. I also have a daughter, she's growing older now. So now Eid is quite an activity in my house.
Right, and although the question was how did you spend it, the
answer
was on the philosophy of it.
How did I spend it? Spend it is like you get up in the morning, you get ready, you get your children ready, you go see your parents. So that's
absolutely. Let me take discussion here. Farooq Hasan Saab and Sara Bhatti, both of you have actually hosted Ramadan transmission for PTV News as well. Farooq Saab, how was the experience, and how did you celebrate Eid today as well?
Thank you, Farooq. Eid Mubarak to everyone. Experience was awesome, as always. It's not the first time. I've done a lot of Ramadan transmissions with PTV. It's always a pleasure. My Ramadan is spent good and meaningful whenever I'm doing this kind of a transmission, because you get to meet a lot of religious scholars and people from different walks of life who share the experiences, and yes, it adds value obviously to yourself also. So yeah, this time around Sara, it was my first experience with Sara as a co-host, and she was very good company.
Right.
She used to keep the mode light, from the heavy stuff.
I used to keep the mode light, but also I used to get a little bit of a scolding from Farooq all the time, because I always had to translate the English version, which was coming to my head,
Yeah.
into Urdu before speaking, and there's some words which are very tough.
No, but you guys made our screen look beautiful throughout
He
the
was
month of
amazingly
Ramadan.
helpful,
Yeah. Yeah,
very,
yeah.
very
Throughout the
supportive. Very.
Yashfeen also, I've known her
very
for a long, long
supportive.
time. She's
Yeah.
doing an excellent job.
Thank
With regards to Eid, I think so for most of the artists and people belonging to showbiz who are
Celebrities, actually. Both of you are
well,
celebrities.
if you would like to call that. Usually, we are working round the clock in Ramadan. We're catching up on recordings.
Busy
and
month.
Busy month. So usually Eid is like a holiday, as you say. So there are 2-3 things which are a must on Eid. So one is catching up on sleep.
Right.
All right. So after saying the namaz, I do get to catch up on my sleep, and then I make it a point to see all those friends of mine who are very close and dear to my heart, whom I have not had the chance to see over the year.
Right.
Right. So I make it a point to call them and to go and actually see them.
Right.
Even if it's for 15-20 minutes, just to say hello. So that connection, that cord is not broken. I make it a point.
Ajay, Sara, what about Ramzan transmission? I mean, to people who are watching, it's your first experience.
Yes,
this
it's my
time.
first experience.
Isn't it very hectic? Because obviously rosas are in any case hectic. But
they're
for people watching, of course, it's that time. Everybody's switched on the TV. We're all watching opening rosa. But how is it generally in terms of interaction and the I mean, it involves quite a bit of span of time. Right?
But see, what I learned during this Ramzan particularly was that we all hear about how Ramzan is a month where we're supposed to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we're supposed to increase our taqwa, right? And to be given an opportunity to not only research but get to meet scholars and muftis from whom I can actually gain a lot was, I think, a blessing. And especially during that time, perhaps it might seem like a trying time for everyone, and of course it was a bit of a trying time for me too, but I honestly think that it wasn't much of a test but a gift for us, both of us, to be in a position where we're not only learning, we're also sitting with everyone in the team, we're breaking our fast together. What an ultimate blessing, because that is something, otherwise we'd be of course doing it with our family. But we're doing it with people we're working with who have been working as hard as us throughout the month.
Because generally, as far as this whole time, people want to go home. They want to be away from even iftars. Generally speaking, they do, but towards the end, and for you to be working at that time, I'm sure it's a different experience.
I really took it as a blessing. I really thought of it as something that I was gifted with, and I think I really feel that it was a blessing for all of us to be there.
Absolutely. At the start of the show, Mahrukh also used a word, beautiful word, eclectic, right?
Yeah.
So when we look at your career, it is literally eclectic,
Yes.
right?
I worked very
Graduated from LAMS, then also have your businesses, and eventually you kept on acting as well, and finally you are doing this.
Yes.
So isn't it a change of speed now?
So-
And how do you actually compute?
So I think I've been a bit of an overachiever all my life, which means that if I was studying, I would try to do something else on the side. So while I was at uni, I got married as well. During that time, I had my children, and I still did a lot of, I studied. I continued to study, and I also continued to model at that time. So I was working, and I was studying, and I was also trying to manage my family. I feel like I just have this insane drive to just be the best in everything that we do. And I mean, for me, I think a positive mental attitude and a positive mindset really helps, right? Because if we're gonna think of it as something of a challenge or something troublesome, then we're gonna take it as a burden rather than something that comes as a blessing to us, right? So being able to do all of these things, multiple things, and being given an opportunity from God to be able to be in a position where you have that opportunity, I don't ever want to say no to something because I might miss out. I might miss out on having children. I might miss out on being with them.
Yashfeen, when earlier on when we were just getting ready, how I mentioned it's for women. It's about achievement, and I think Sara, what she's saying seems to indicate that also. When you're a woman and you dress up or you want to dress up and you want to look as that, people tend to underestimate who you are. You know, unfortunately, that's a reality. I'm sure Sara has some experience in that department. You have some experience in that department.
Why are you excluding men from it?
I'm talking particularly about women because I think, you know, especially I feel like this is more subcontinent related. You have to prove that you have some other achievement.
Also,
you have some substance. People tend to undermine you, or they tend to disregard what you know, they're not as, what can one say, as generous generally. And I find that more with men. Isn't that true in your profession?
I've been in this profession from the last about 15 years now. I've never had such an experience before. But yes, I recently did have an experience, and it was quite, you know, wake-up call for me to kind of understand that what is the thought process going on in the minds of those who manage us or who are our bosses basically when they treat us as women journalists also. No matter what number of years you've spent in the industry, no matter what your career is, what you've done or achieved, you are at some point in time classified as a woman who has to look a certain way when she's going on air, when she's talking to you, and when she's you know, hosting a certain program. I recently started covering my head, as all of you would know. I didn't do it earlier on, and I had to face quite a reaction for that. I was actually offered a job at a very nice institute. I'm not going to name it, of course, but I was at the end told that we didn't know that you cover your head now, so it is not workable for us. So I have an offer letter from them, and I couldn't go on air. So that was quite a shock for me, because I did not face any such situation in my entire career before, and I never thought on those lines that I look a certain way, so I am going on air, because I always like to believe that I talk a certain way, and I have a certain content, and I have a certain substance, so that's why I'm where I am. But unfortunately, the reality is a bit different, and yes, women do have to face such challenges every day in their lives when it comes to, and I believe it's not just with media.
I think it's with every day.
It's with every career that we talk about.
I think it involves the PTMs also generally, as we've discussed so many times. It involves everything.
We talk about schools also these days, and we kind of feel, because I have younger children, I go to their school regularly, and I feel that this culture is there also somewhere, that you have to look a certain way to be at a certain way.
Prejudice has many faces in this society, especially. But even then, don't you think that you're depriving the age of its credit or blame, for that matter? This is Instagram age, right? You have to look certain ways to actually get all the likes.
I think I still
and
look
approval.
I still look that Insta age that you're talking about. I like to believe that. But when I started covering my hair, I kind of started thinking on these lines, that we talk about extremism in a certain way. If a woman dressed up in a certain way, which we like to believe modern or Western, is not acceptable to certain people, and that we label as extremism, then me dressing up like this is not acceptable to a certain group of people, is extremism for me also. So I believe that extremism has its own dimensions and faces. It comes in all shapes and colors, and not accepting a person, an individual, for what he or she is extremism in any form.
It's not
so it's
about
discrimination also,
and it's not about how. It's about, you know, you talk about religion and Ramadan transmission, and the fact that we say that we are religious, and we say that, you know, we are learning, but Islam is about showing that kind of
tolerance,
you know, tolerance, generosity,
and
letting things go. You know, equality also. It's
emphasis
not about,
has to be on that.
It was never about, you know, this kind of.
Absolutely. And I'm building up to a next question.
Yes,
right?
please build up.
Farooq sir, you're also a banker, right? Successful banker, by the way. Earlier we were, you know, hearing paeans to your achievements.
No, he has titles like presidents and vice presidents, something.
Right.
But that is
so. At this moment, especially, the reason I brought up Iqbal, that the country is going through a lot of economic distress, right? Especially during Ramadan, also we saw the long lines, the long queues of people who were seeking atta and all. At that time, I understand, when I was watching various Ramadan transmissions, that the mood was a little bit subdued. It wasn't like Dr. Amir Liaquat distributing candies and sweets and cards and everything. But how do you reconcile a celebration with that kind of economic distress, when your audience is hurting and you have to actually tell them that you have to have a heart and then celebrate it also?
Yeah. Okay, so Tafi, my take on this is that Pakistan is probably amongst the top few countries who have the ratio of the, who are the highest in giving charity to people, right? Throughout the world, for that matter. So we've got amazing facilities like hospitals and other donor institutions which, give to people. Things are not very ripe or very rosy right now, as everyone knows. But I also know and believe that as Pakistanis, we are a very resilient nation. We've had our highs, we've had our lows, but we've come out and we've always emerged successful. I think as our religion also teaches us, we should not give up on faith, we should not give up on hope. Better times will definitely come. We need to get out of this, situation ourselves. We should not wait for others to come and help us, and then, I think we all, and we can, and we will. I am very confident. We are what we are because of Pakistan. We are because Pakistan is there, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we need to get out of this, and yes, it's a bit difficult to, sell hope to, a person who's been through a lot of distress. But I think this is what our religion teaches us also: patience, and hope, and faith. And we need to keep all these three.
And this is the message that you kept on conveying
Yes,
during the
absolutely.
translation also. Sarah, do you want to add to this?
I completely agree with Farooq. And as a country, if you actually notice, right, it's not just charity. We have really big hearts.
Yeah.
And our capacity and ability to withstand so much trauma. As a nation, we have been through immense trauma. I mean, the whole terrorism threat, there's so much that our country and our people have been through. And still, you will notice that on 14th August, on the 23rd of March, every single Eid, we still have the heart to actually go out and celebrate. Even if we don't have money, even if we're in this intense economic crunch.
We've got big hearts.
Yeah, we have immense hearts to just celebrate, be together, and just share whatever little that we actually do have. So it's an amazing thing. We're blessed to have those hearts.
Yeah, definitely. And also, otherwise, as far as Eid is concerned, it's, for Pakistanis, that's universal. I mean, everywhere in the world, even expats, you see the kind of fervor, the kind of spirit. I don't think that goes down, even with whatever's happening in the country at this time. As far as Ramadan, particularly transmission is concerned, did you notice any changes as far as with the economic condition before I go into brighter topics? Or,
what
more?
I think saddens me this time is that whenever we're on the road, we'll see people who would never ever come to us for any kind of charity, coming to us and approaching us right now. If we open our eyes and actually are more conscious of the kind of people who are actually asking for help, for ration, anything like that. I mean, it's absolutely shocking and it's absolutely distressing to see that as a whole, as a nation, right, how much we're falling into the economic crisis.
Yeah, and it takes a lot for an individual to go out and ask for any kind of help or support. I mean, it takes a lot.
Absolutely.
And one has to be conscientious, one has to, as you pointed out, one has to keep eyes open, heart open as well, because there is a state of mind that is needed for giving. Right? And I think that this Eid essentially is for giving. It is meant to give, right? It is called Eid al-Fitr.
And I think what Sara is saying is very true, because even people otherwise, there's so many people who wouldn't ask for charity. But there is a segment of society now that is impacted, that wasn't impacted.
Absolutely.
So those are realities also that we
No,
have
but we
to
should give credit to our people. We do have that mind that you're talking about, and our hearts are in the right place
we need
also.
more of that at this
Of
moment.
course.
But
It's not
in any
enough.
case, I'm told that we have to take a small break, viewers. And while we take break, we'll also thank both Farooq Saab and Sara Sahiba for their participation. They have to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
sir and
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Viewers, don't go away. We'll be back with more discussion after this break.
Welcome back. We have a few other interesting guests with us now. We have with us Naila Shuja, who is a news anchor. She is also with PTV. Naila, you know, we're so delighted to have you with us. We'd like to talk about your experience here and how overall you found. You've also said that, you know, you're a mother also. We want to talk about your experience and what you've been, you know, how Eid is and what all today has been about. We also have with us Huma Hashmi, who is, I would like to say, an anchor, but so much more. She's also been with us now for a long time and known for her rather, what can I say, exuberant personality.
Delight of PTV.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. And she is one of those people who...
I paid them.
No, she hasn't. We have to agree.
Okay.
She is one of those rare people who actually bring a lot of warmth wherever she goes.
Life of the party.
Yes, very true, very true. And Yashfeen, though, of course, has been with us, and I don't think she needs an introduction. We also have with us Mehreen Ali Mirza, who is an anchor, and also we were just talking about her experience in modelling internationally and how it has been. So it's a very interesting, again, group with us today. Mehreen, how has Eid been? You've also lived abroad, as I take it, and comparatively, how do you find it here?
Actually, Mahrukh, this is going to be my first Eid in Pakistan. Usually it's been in America.
Okay.
So I do have family there, nieces, nephews, my immediate family is there. So I mean, there too it's, you know, celebrations are good, 3-4 days. I mean, over there it's not as much, I feel. It's like one day.
Okay.
That's still, Eid is 3 days, but over there it's like one day. Go to the mosque, pray, dress up, meet your family, and you know.
But aren't they more excited generally than it is, you know, you feel you're away from the country, so there's more excitement.
And surprisingly, there is a lot of excitement, and surprisingly people are very in touch with their Islamic roots and Pakistani culture and, you know, getting dresses made.
Yeah. Community as well.
The community, yeah. There's like a huge diaspora of Pakistani population there, where I'm from, which is Washington, D.C. But I think I'm excited more to be in Pakistan for Eid because I know here, you know, you get a lot, I think 1 week off from work. And yeah, so I'm excited.
More holidays.
That's the biggest plus I've been.
Yeah, you get holidays, you're off from work, and I'm excited to see how it's going to be here, to be celebrating.
Naila, how has your Eid been and how was your experience with PTV? We take it that you have recently joined PTV, right?
Yes.
So how is PTV treating you and how is Eid?
Okay, so that's a very loaded question. I'm going to start off with Eid. Eid has been extremely stressful because, as you know, families, it's Chand Raat celebrations and then ironing everyone's clothes for, you know, Eid and then making sure that, you know, savaya and, you know, halwa and all of the goodies are made in the morning. So when everyone comes back from the masjid, they're you know, ready to dig in. So it's been stressful. It's been just stuck in the kitchen.
So you do all the cooking yourself? I'm getting impressed here.
More or less.
The goodies and the cookies and the
More or less.
savaya. You do it yourself?
More or
Oh my
less,
God.
yes.
Are we invited after the program?
I think we should just head over to my place after this.
I hope no one's watching at my house.
That is very typical of an anchor.
Yeah.
He will ask you, are you vulnerable? Are you alone?
Are you alone?
And then add more burden to
And then
your
you're going to be
plate.
attacked. So I just attacked you and trust me, we're going to follow you.
I'm opening you with my arms wide open. Come on over.
It's
But,
That's
so,
really sweet of you.
so it's just been, you know, the typical household chores that you do on Eid. You know, if you're living with family, there's cooking, there's cleaning, there's making sure that everything's proper.
I think Huma does also more or less the same. Do you also, Huma, do cooking and cleaning and chores?
Do you cook the regular stuff, Huma, or do you cook other things also?
Well, you know, when my girls when they were younger, I think I had more fun.
Yeah.
In fact, when they weren't born, I had more fun. You know, yeah.
Most fun.
When I was a young girl
That is
myself,
very
I had
candid
more
of you.
fun.
Because, see, when you're kids and everything, and you know, but the whole concept of Eid, it's changed so much over the years. Like I remember, you know, we'd all go to Lahore, where our grandfather, his house, and everybody would accumulate over there, you know, assemble over there. All my aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody. So, you know, it was such a lot of fun. The clothes, the bangles, and those. I remember, you know, I mean, even I would go and get those glass bangles and those khuses and even those parandas. You know, that typical Eastern kind of a touch. You know, I really liked that. You know. Yeah. So, but over the years, you know, sadly, that's gone away, and now it's more where the family is inclined to just remain within their, you know, within their immediate surroundings. Uncles and aunts and all, it's like, yeah, but not so much as it was before.
There were more, there
many
was
years ago.
Extended family structure, I think.
Right.
I'd like to add to this point. It's a very valid and good point, because I feel like everything has become so tish-pish. There's so much lavishness that goes along with it. Going to meet your relatives has become a chore in a way. Now you're trying to, you know, bring cakes and flowers, and it's not about meeting your family. It's more about, you know, leaving that kind of lasting impression that, you know, we've one-upped you in a way. So it's the concept of family.
I think it's really interesting, because recently I was thinking about the same thing, that, you know, with Ramzan, and of course, I don't want to put a damper again on the spirit of Eid, but you know, Ramzan has been about a lot of iftars and again, like you said, one up. I think that's very important. I feel that, you know, now it's about all social gatherings, all invitations. It's about one up. Yeah. How much more can you do or prove? And it's less about having fun. So you know, it's the gloss. I don't know. I feel like it's more about the gloss.
It's more commercialized.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
but it might also have to have something to do with the class itself, or where you actually belong. Because I think that when you come to the lower middle class, I've seen the warmth in people, and they connect with you, and all those things that we perhaps now miss, actually, like bangles and all those Meena Bazaars and all that.
But I honestly believe all is not lost yet. We can still revive the spirit, and I was talking about it earlier also.
This is what I'm saying. It is not lost.
It
might be lost to certain people.
To certain, of course.
Yeah, but
I agree with that.
Usually, I wouldn't know anything about bangles, right? But I am, you know, a father of 2 girls.
That's what I was. How come you don't know anything about bangles?
Yeah, so my home is full of all these things, mehndi and bangles.
Yeah.
So don't you think that even right now, those who want to celebrate actually can treat it like a festival rather than just an event?
They do, and I agree with you. Of course, to some groups and in some circles, maybe we might think or believe that it is lost, but no, not generally. I still see girls out on the streets on Chand Raat, you know, getting all those mehndis done and getting bangles. And like about 3 years ago, until about 3 years ago, I used to get away with putting a gola on my daughter's hand, you know, at home, and you know, just telling her this is mehndi, but now not anymore. No. So I have to get those appointments, take her out for Chand Raat, and you know, get the mehndi done, and that look on her face when she's getting one hand done, that will I get it on this hand also? So you know, that kind of thing. And then bangles, I have 3 dresses, so I want, and I was not that kind of a child myself. My mother was quite enthusiastic. She always wanted me to dress up, but I was always, you know, kind of trying to get away with it, that I don't want to. But I'm so happy that my daughter is not that way, and I really have to put in all the effort with her. So when I go out from about at least the last 2 years at Chand Raat on Eid, I actually see that the spirit is still there. It's just that some of us were kind of, you know, getting disconnected with the spirit, but it's not lost.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I hope and I pray that it's not lost, but I still feel that, you know, it's not the way that it was. And now I feel like, you know, we should celebrate like Christmas and, you know, we've seen like all across the festivities, and it's celebrated in a way that makes people, even children, you know, ask who don't know.
Yeah.
I think Eid should also be about that, so that it's not lost to them.
Yeah.
You know, the way it was for us when we were going, or maybe, you know, even our parents, I feel like that needs to be captured wherever.
That's such a wonderful
But I kind of,
point.
I don't know, I shouldn't be, but I kind of blame my parents' generation for it. If my mother is listening, she's going to kill me. But I sincerely believe that our grandparents, that generation kind of made it a point that a festival has to be treated like a festival. Family has to get together. Yeah. They had those open hearts and open homes where they used to host people, welcome people. With our parents, I feel that generation kind of, you know, tried to like Huma was saying, kind of minimize it, or limit it to their own immediate family circles only.
Right.
So I kind of blame them for that.
That might also have something to do with the recent experience of COVID, but we are not going to go there,
But
right?
that's
because
that's
of
way too recent. I'm talking about
I
the
think it was
bottlenecks
before.
and these silos in which we now live perhaps were also trained recently.
COVID has made it
But
harder.
Mehreen, there's also this capacity of ours to keep on indulging in nostalgia, how things were and perhaps they are not. But today is better and it is different. When we were children, at least I was, I'm not talking about you, you must be, your childhood must be recent. But at that time, in my childhood, you only had one telephone and you used to have an operator listening in, right?
Yeah.
But now people have mobiles, now they can Zoom call as well. So what are we missing right now? Are we only talking about when people come together under one roof, or is it important to connect heart to heart with your loved ones and celebrate the spirit of Eid, not really the nostalgia that has to be there?
So definitely we are in the digital age. Even like at my house, like you dress up, everything, you give kids ED, you eat a huge feast, and then everyone's on their phones.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not really like, you're not really bonding with your loved ones. So maybe
But they are bonding with somebody because they have mobiles. Right?
texting and on social media and browsing and who knows what else they're doing. So it's just, Eid is over in like an hour or two.
It's an era of PR, basically. The emotional connection is lost.
It's gone.
No, it is not.
It is.
Again, we
Change your
PR.
clothes and
This is
Eid is
PR.
done.
let the viewers know.
The emotional connection is lost.
In the break, Yashfeen was giving me a hard time that we are actually being morose in the discussion.
No, I didn't do
and
that.
now who is actually
I'm not
talking
going to
about the
do
lost
that.
spirit of Eid?
No, but I mean, back in the day, it was a lot more like about family bonding and making memories. And now everyone is just kind of,
but,
that's kind of
Now
lost.
your memory is just that one picture that has to be perfect.
the
with
one
everyone.
family
with your
selfie.
hair looking perfect and the children dressed very
Yeah,
perfectly,
and-
and you're standing in that picture.
Yeah.
And
And
then
your
again, it's
Eid
all like,
outfit of the day pic
Yeah.
for Instagram or social
Yeah.
media, and then it's like, okay, Eid is over.
Yeah.
But that's what I was touching on earlier, is that I actually like the fact that in Pakistan, I mean, it's an Islamic republic, so Eid is valued, right? You get 1 week off, so you can actually spend time with your family and just kind of reset. And in America, there's no, there's no days off for Eid.
Just
From
I'm
school
so
school
enjoying
or
the
from
excitement for the week
She's
off. I
been
swear.
trying to say this twice. Mehreen, in PTV,
Yeah.
you don't get a week off. I've been working on Eid
Yeah.
so many times.
And you're saying it in front of Huma, who's been working an entire
I
life.
think she is preparing mind of everybody that I'm
I'm
going to
not
take.
had a day off on Eid. You
One day.
You're talking about a week.
One day, Homaji, one day.
One day, okay, then you'll have to
Yeah.
ask for it now.
Right.
Achha, but getting back to this, the positive aspect is that if you notice over the years, you get such lovely clothes now, which, first you had to go get a material, go to the tailor, get your outfits made, with the lace and this and that matching.
The entire
blah, blah,
process.
blah. Now you go and you have so much of stuff and very reasonable also. It's not like, things are so expensive that you can't afford it. You have so much in the market. I mean, that's one of the plus points nowadays. I mean, since the conversation was going
Huma,
like
how
a
many
little
years have you
gloomy.
been
Yeah,
there?
thank you very much for saying that. This is why I kept saying that she's
off topic, but
delightful.
how many years have you been with PTV? I didn't ask your age, I swear. Trust me, I didn't ask your age.
I will thank you if you don't actually.
Okay, I joined in 99. Then I left for a while, twice. I think I've left PTV. Those were some.
So you joined in 99. All of us are getting ED from Huma. Well, that was the only purpose behind this. That was the only purpose behind this
Do I
question.
need to break it to you that I initially also joined in 98 and then I left.
Then we are getting ED from Huma.
Both of
He
you.
was 30 years old. I was just 19. You see.
I didn't think you graduated out of the
Yeah,
ED
just-
taking age. I thought you were still in the
Just-
ED taking age. So you've graduated out of it. Now you're in the ED giving age, right?
Right, absolutely.
Absolutely.
But let it be on record that I still call Huma my younger sister. She is my
She's
kid
my
sister.
younger sister also. I
because
can't
she's
dare to call her
always-
my elder
She's
sister.
always so bubbly whenever she's in work environment, and she so brilliant.
that's true.
And she brings such a good mood.
Huma
to
is the youngest
you're
out
in a-
of
if you're
all
in
of
a-
us because
yeah.
she's young at heart.
Yes.
That's the most
Absolutely.
important
Actually,
thing.
the thing is that everybody's got problems. You know, you've always had problems. You'll always have problems because whatever goes on in life, it's not just. You know, a person says, "No, it's happened to me." You know, the worst has happened to me. But if you talk to other people and take their stories as well, listen to them, you'd understand maybe this person went through more, you know. So, but when you are in an environment of, you know, I mean, you're not a relative, you're a friend, you're an acquaintance, you're a person who, you know, I work with. So just get everything out, you know, out of your mind, out of your head, and be as happy as you can be.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
that is the
just
motto
be-
of life.
Yeah, I see, either you can smile at your troubles or you can cry. I'd rather smile, you know.
I
Thank you
After
very
you
much. Keep
cry,
smiling.
after you
Let
cry.
us actually take discussion to the, perhaps you're the youngest person here, and let us ensure that we don't have any prejudice against
I'm
you.
the youngest person.
Right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Right,
Yes.
two
I'm
are
the
the
second
youngest
youngest.
people, right?
Second youngest.
Second
yes.
youngest. But Naila, I don't know whether you are millennial or Gen Z. Can you identify first, and then I'm going to ask the
I
next
am a
one.
millennial.
Okay. So
Really?
millennials and Gen Z both are actually accused of doing exactly what was being said earlier, always spending a lot of time on mobile. But again, is it not also a kind of translation of Eid spirit that you are spending time with your friends when you are on phone, right? Why do we miss the physical connection always?
I can only speak about, you know, myself and my circle specifically, so I would stick to that. But I think it's probably because everything is so distorted in the sense everyone is so far away, everyone's trying to, again, social media has made us feel like we are less than what we actually are, be it clothes, be it jewelry, be it makeup, the way we look, how we present ourselves, like you've said before. So that aspect kind of brings you down on Eid, which it shouldn't. But then again, the whole process of going out with your friends, getting your mehndi done, you know, going for a haircut, just you know, living that Chand Raat life is so exhilarating in that way.
And small mercies in life, right?
Yeah.
There are certain things you still cannot do on your telephone.
Yes.
You cannot go for your hairdressing there.
Exactly.
You cannot get your phone.
Or get your henna done.
Yeah.
henna
Yeah.
and all.
Chandrat
And
mela.
dresses
Even though all of these services are like a tap away, but the whole concept of going out physically, meeting people, I mean, I have looked in the worst possible condition at times, and I've bumped into some of the most interesting people and personalities and celebrities, and I'm just so excited to meet them because, again, everyone's coming home. And that's what I think Eid is about, coming home to your family and being able to celebrate it with them and just living your life with them.
Young but wise.
On that note, on that wise note, we'll be taking a short break, after which we'll come back and talk more about how is Eid and how we're spending it. Yashfeen, thank you so much for
Thank you
giving us
so
your
much for having me.
valuable time
Thank you
today.
so much.
Thank you for joining us.
Absolute
We'll be
pleasure.
right back after a short break.